Welcome to T-Boys TV. We're back again with another Hatter Show, obviously episode 79. And this one's going to be a bit weird, as we know, because obviously we're reviewing Wigan, but then previewing Wigan again. So yeah, there we go with that. But like always, I'm joined with my dad. How are we, Dad? We good?
Yeah, all good. Weekend.
Yeah, weekend. You know what I mean? Town are playing. Come on, we love that. Do you know what I mean? Especially when I'm returning back to another game. Feels like ages. You know, obviously the last game we went to together, Dad. Do you know what I mean? That's how long ago it was. Obviously Blackpool, and that was a memorable away day. So more of the same tomorrow, but obviously we'll get into that a bit later on. But yeah, just a warning. Obviously we will react to Wigan, but we're not going to be doing player ratings because we both weren't able to fully watch the game and listen to it, etc. I had Stephen's commentary in the chat, so big up yourself for that. But yeah, so we won't do that. But obviously we'll still do man of the matches and just overall thoughts of the game. So yeah, obviously we took on Wigan away in the FA Cup. Obviously going into it, you know, I said 1-1 and it would go to extra time. Obviously we know it nearly flipping did. Dad, you said 2-0, wasn't it? You went with a 2-0 for us. Lineup was an interesting one, pretty strong again. To be honest, you know, similar to the reverse fixture. So obviously we had Ethan in goal again, which I was surprised with again. Osho, Burke, Bree, Bell, Doherty, and then the midfield was Campbell, Clark, Watson, and then Elijah and Woodrow up front. My thoughts on that lineup, like I said, I was surprised with how strong it was in certain positions. Still, obviously, Ethan, I was surprised he was still in goal. You know, and obviously I had the feeling Campbell would start, so that I weren't really shocked with that one. You know, obviously Burke and Osho, you know, that makes sense. Obviously Burke to get minutes, Osho because I feel he deserves it. And then it was interesting to see Elijah and Woodrow up front. You know, we haven't seen that yet properly. So yeah, very strong lineup. I was surprised with how strong it was, but I was happy with it. What was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, similar. Like we expected Eiston to play, but you know this is a different manager, and if you know maybe he just saw it as an opportunity for Ethan just to get straight back into it. Do you know what I mean? Like get out of his system before we play in the league again. You know he's a decent keeper. Let's be honest. We're quite lucky he hasn't been recalled to Nottingham Forest because they've got an injury to the main keeper. Yeah, I wanted the changes at the back. That happened. Midfield, you know, pretty much probably as expected, you know, and then the reason Morris wasn't playing because he had a knock, otherwise he probably would have started again.
Yeah, so, I wouldn't have been surprised, yeah.
A slight calf injury or whatever, and in fact is a doubt for tomorrow's game as well, but you know, that might be a good thing in certain, because he probably needs a bit of a, you know what I mean? He's worked his socks off on that, and like, I feel we should still be able to beat Wigan without him. We've done it already in the cup, and
Elijah's kicking into form now as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Woodrow's doing bits as well. Even Cornick.
Yeah, Cornick should definitely have scored. He was just unlucky, like really, and he looked quite lively. So, you know, we should still have enough, even if he doesn't start, to beat him tomorrow. But yeah, like. But the thing is, it's a strong lineup, but actually we have got strong players all over the squad. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. It's definitely, you know, compared to what it has been in recent years, obviously it's a massive shoot up in improvement in that sense.
So yeah, again, like it's good. It's just a disappointing that I couldn't watch it, but managed to listen to it on the radio. Well, I did anyway. You know, so I can give some sort of, you know, Like, there's no point doing player ratings because you have
No, because you didn't see their performances like we would usually. So.
the whole game either, because you can base it off of that to a certain extent. Do you know what I mean? Combined with highlights as well. But yeah, I was quite pleased with the lineup, and I just did. Mate, we wanted Iceland to play, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and like I said, the reason I wanted to see that is just felt Ethan, especially after the last game, needs a break, and I feel Iceland, it's gonna be difficult for him to get an opportunity.
Well, we'll say on that. I'll just touch on that quickly because obviously the news has come out and Matt Macy's gone on loan.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
he won't be coming back to Kenilworth Road, in my opinion. And I do think that Shea, I think Iceland is going to end up being a second choice keeper if we give him the other contract. I can see that happening.
Yeah,
I'd rather have him than Matt Macy and Shea. I think he's still there and that, but I'm thinking that this is going to be the way it is going forward, and he'll end up being the third choice keeper. Although people are saying, he must be fitter than people expect because we've loaned out Macy, but he's nowhere near, mate. He's not. He won't play this season, I don't think.
I'm the same. A lot of people think he'll be back, but and also with Ethan being a loan, he's the loan, so he's going to play. He's going to be that number one. As much as Shea was good when he stepped in against.
I will say it's risky because we've had this problem in past seasons where we've lost keepers. In last season we had it, and then we're loaning out keepers we don't really want because you can't loan a Premier League keeper apparently after a certain. But that's what happened. So we have. It is a bit risky because if Ethan does get recalled, then all we've got is Iceland.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's something that did scare me when I obviously saw that he left in that sense.
So that is the risk, but I guess it's unless they've had assurances that Nottingham Forest are not going to be taking him back. I mean, if they wanted to take him back, surely they would have done already anyway. So
yeah, you would have thought that.
So we're probably just going to risk it with Ethan, Iceland, and a youth team backup keeper if we need to.
Yeah,
and that's it. And then there's the emergency loan deals if anything else happens. But I think it's just a bit of paranoia because we've had that in the past where it's kind of messed us up a little bit. But hopefully, we'll be all right.
Yeah. And I think it's one of them, going back to the Nottingham Forest thing. I think if they were in the relegation zone, they would maybe looked at it. But they're actually in, well, obviously, they're a few points away, but they're still in a decent position. They're sitting 13th in the Premier League. Like I say, if it was lower for me, then yeah, maybe they'd be looking at it. But I think that sort of helps us in a sense as well, that they're not in that sense.
Yeah. And maybe also the fact that Ethan had a poor game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I thought, like in the Premier League, you can't be doing that. Whatever, do you know what I mean? I'd like to keep him. I think we probably will end up keeping him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely, I hope so. But yeah, let me go through some comments and then I'll quickly go through the bench as well and just thoughts on that. Big up Ty says, Stephen, big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself. He also says, big up Daz. Hope you had a good week. Do you have a good week, Daz? There you go. And I agree with this as well. And I'm sure you're the same on it, Dad. Steve says, I feel Watson is going to play a big part rest of this season.
Yeah, if he's given the opportunity, then I don't see why not. And we said it before. I've said it before. Like Rob Edwards, from looking at his history and things like that before, like he likes to give young players a chance. More than Nathan did. He was quite happy to loan players out, and I get it to a certain extent, but sometimes it's fresh for Rob Edwards, isn't it? Like people used to say Nathan Jones had his favourites. You saw Pelly, Berry, you know what I mean, like Potts. Certain people that just seem to get into the team regardless, and then you bring in this talent, you sign in this talent, but you're not utilising them that much really in the Championship anyway. So. And he's already proved that he can handle it in the Championship. So I expect him to be more part, going forward. And And if he starts playing the form of his life, then he'll stop, the whole 90 minutes. So let's see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big up Blue Terrier. He says hello. Big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself. Big up Manny in the chat as well. So yeah, there we go. I think he's replying to Blue Terrier there, saying Huddersfield still have not decided what keeper they want. Flipping hell. Well, that's
I'll touch on the Matt Macy situation as well. Like, when we had him years, he weren't too bad, but it was a long time ago. Do you know what I mean? I think we were in like League Two or something at the time as well. And he had that one game against Newport, and he was awful, wasn't he? Yeah, and I know, players can have a bad game and that, but since then he's just dropped out. Even when Jones was still there, he weren't on the bench. And two Scottish teams were chasing him.
Yeah, as well as Portsmouth. Yeah.
But he just, and he's gone to League One as well. Do you know what I mean? It's not, Portsmouth relatively, decent and that, but it's not like he's gone to a championship club. So that just shows you. I just think he's not good enough.
No, I agree. I think we all know it was one of them that, because we needed keepers so much, it was a panic buy. We know that.
At the time as well, we thought it was a bit unusual.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I remember us talking about it, and we were saying, it's a bit. It's one of them. It's just another option, basically. That's what we were saying at the time. We know he's not going to be the starter. We thought maybe he'd come in for cup games. Obviously, he did in the League Cup, but then maybe more. But then after that, it was always going to be difficult for him.
And I think also that proves that we're definitely really looking at getting someone in within the next couple of days, next week, because I think that's like freeing up space in the squad as well. So,
yeah,
I don't know if he's registered fully or whatever, but I feel it's a bit to do with that as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, just running through the bench quickly. So our bench was Berry, Cornick, Eisted, Jerome, Lockyer, Petit, Potts, Ruddock, Thorpe. So a pretty strong bench, to be honest. A pretty good bench in that sense. Obviously, good to see. We got more than one defender on the bench. Obviously, Lockyer and Potts. And yeah, man, obviously Thorpe, I had a feeling he'd be on the bench for this game. I believe it did say that, going into this game. And pretty good options to bring on there from the bench, isn't it, Dad?
Yeah, definitely. And it was kind of utilised, having Lockyer on the bench, right, at a poor game. But genuinely, he's very good. So,
yeah, exactly.
Bench and just be able to shore things up is good. I say, Thorpe, he'll just pass it out, calm things down or whatever. It just helped us, in fact, just sort of holding that possession and be able to push them back and eventually create the chance that led to the winner. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, moving on to onto the game. The first half. From what I could gather, obviously I've only been able to see highlights and obviously people telling me what was going on game by game. It sounded like we for most of it were on top, but we just didn't quite finish anything from it in the first half. I think Wigan had like one good chance at the end, if I'm correct, or near the end. So yeah, that's really all I can say. It sounds like what it has been a lot against Wigan previously in games when we played them this season. We've tended to dominate majority of it. We just, struggle to obviously get that final hurdle in that sense and get past them. But obviously we did manage to do that in this game. But yeah, your summary on the first half, really, Dad?
Yeah, it's a bit like that. It's a bit like when we not so much the last game where we were all over them in the second half, but we were clearly the better team, and they were just dogged. Do you know what I mean? Basically, and we just needed to keep putting them under pressure and that which we did, and that's why So it weren't like they were, and I knew it'd be the case anyway, because we are, and they're low on confidence as well. So they're just looking to try and hold on to the ball and try and work, but ultimately they're just like fighting just to not let anyone else come at them, and that's why they've been relatively, good recently, but defending compared to what there was before.
Yeah.
But it might not be enough time for them to build that up and survive, in my opinion. I do think they'll be back, even if they went down. I think that they got some good players there as well. If they can keep hold of them, then they might be all right. But I did hear also today that they got 3 points deduction and suspended.
Oh, really?
For about a year for late payment of wages to players.
Oh, geez.
But obviously that wouldn't come into effect this season anyway. So, if they do anything else, then potentially they could start off whatever league they're in with a 3 point deduction. But it's not, that's nothing, is it? It's just like dust compared to a 30.
Yeah, what we know. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But, that's what happens. They spent big trying to get out of League One. That's what I'm saying. They have got some, they've got ex-Irish internationals in their team, and they've got some good players in that team, but just not the whole squad. So, and that's the way it went. We've built, and now it's clear to see. Obviously we're not the finished product, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting there.
Yeah.
What I've seen over the past 10 years, which we 100%.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel we're like, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but I just feel we like maybe one or two players off personally, especially on that left hand side of defence, or even just the centre back in general. Just like I said, I'd love to keep Potts as another option, but I just feel we need more. We need more there. That replacement, not necessarily Naismith himself, but just the position he was playing last season for us. If me personally, if we only got someone there, I wouldn't be too disappointed personally. I don't know if you're the same in this transfer window, but me personally, if we just got someone there and that was it, I'll take it.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I got to say on that. Big up Jackie. She says, hi, Ty and Daz. I listened to the game. I thought they all played well. Plus I won my 2-1 bet. There you go. Nice one there.
How much did you put on?
Yeah, that's the question. That is the question.
Yeah, at least a $5 on that, I reckon. But yeah, well done. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, they did play well. Again, from what I was, listen to, and actually it was quite good to listen to a game, because obviously I haven't listened to a game for ages.
Yeah.
And because the commentators are Luton fans as well, like they speak with honesty and you know who's played well, and they're quite descriptive. And I did miss it. Yeah, tennis all right. Then keep that, put that on the next game. But yeah,
which is obviously Wigan again as well. So yeah, man, a bit more of even more of an understanding, really. Obviously, they'll probably rotate a bit, but obviously so will we. But yeah, so that's that. Moving on to the second half. Obviously, Wigan, come out and got a goal really early. It's one of them goals. We conceded a lot of goals like that this season. I think Burnley away is a similar example, really, in the sense where, have tried to clear it, and it hasn't quite worked out. A lot of players were swarming in the box, which I don't think helped. No one was really on the edge of the box. And, credit to Asgard. It was a brilliant, finish, and he is a good player. He is one of their good players. But yeah, just annoying defensively, trying to clear it away, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah. But like I say, from what I was watching the highlights as well, they had a chance similar to that earlier with the same player, but he put it wide. So there was a warning there. And we do that sometimes. It tends to crowd the box and not cover that area, and it's not going to happen. But teams do look out for that, and if they've got to qualify someone like that on the edge of the box, and he is a good player, I'd rate him. Going to end up, finishing it. So can't really say a lot of that. Ethan couldn't do nothing about it. It was a really good goal.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can see where we could have prevented it, or maybe even blocked the shot. But it is what it is. That's what happens. But I was still confident at that point because I knew how we played and how we started off the game and the way that certain players were playing, especially up front. They seem to be clicking a lot more recently, to be honest, sharing the goals out a bit. If Cornick's, well, they have been, Cornick scored recently. Adebayo, Woodrow, Mark, they've all scored.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing that, then that'll just benefit us, and the defense is finally sorting itself out as well. So these are just kind of like routine game. No disrespect to Wigan or whatever, but kind of like it should be a routine win for me. Routine games, like just, and when you have to step it up against the better teams, we normally do anyway. But with the squad all sort of kind of getting to firing all cylinders, coming towards the business end of the season, that's guaranteed playoff place. That is.
Yeah, and it goes back to what I said earlier. Obviously, we want Morris fit, of course we do, but it's beneficial in a way that now Elijah's firing, Woodrow's playing really well, Cornick's even scoring goals as well every now and then. That's good for us. Because we were, with how Elijah was, where he was just getting unlucky in games and just wasn't quite getting the goal. Obviously, if that was still happening and Morris was out, then we'd be a bit more worried in that sense.
Well, we touched on that in the last show, didn't we? We said he scored the goal, and we said it before. Hopefully, this will keep him kick on, and now he has. So
yeah, exactly.
If he scores again tomorrow, that's it. I think he'll be up and running, because I do think that he is a confidence player.
Yeah, no, he is.
Remember last season, he was just in the right place at the right time. He was, when he started scoring goals, he was just. Do you know what I mean? He just seems to be more confident, and he has got really good feet, and that he can make that extra step or that extra.
His touch is brilliant and all. I remember the amount of times last season.
So much.
The way he turned and just done play, like the ball would just come down. Oh, mate, it's unreal.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and the more he does it in a game and scores in a game, he'll just get better and better. Like, I know Morris has got a good touch, but personally, I think that Elijah's got a better touch. And he just needs to, I don't know if he's got as much power in his shots. I don't think so, but he has got. I think he has got a better touch overall, and if he can just start like that goal the other day, and the headers as well, because he's a big lad, so he should definitely be taking advantage of that. But I think he's working it out now. Like when he's in the box, he's like, I'm getting the ball. Like twice, he scored both times in the box. And the problem is, like, he gets out muscled or fouled or whatever if he, attempting to run into the box or whatever. He always gets outnumbered. So he needs to. That's what I said before. He needs to adapt. And even if he gets a couple of goals in the box, people are going to be more wary of him and more panic of him when he's running towards them, and more likely to foul him and him actually win a free kick, rather than it seems to go the other way a lot as well, which is quite annoying. Like he's not allowed to go for the ball because
it's ridiculous.
It does wind up.
West Brom was like a clear example of that.
Yeah, but you adapt. So, and that's what you need to learn to do, and I think he has actually doing that at the moment. So, yeah,
no, I'd agree with that. But yeah, shortly after their goal, obviously, like my dad said, he had the confidence that he was going to bring it back. So did I, to be fair. As much as obviously I said we'd lose to Wigan on pens, I knew it, it'd be one of them games where we get back into it. Woodrow, second time of asking in the sense on the rebound. Good finish by him, done well to get onto the rebound. Keeper parried it out to him. So it literally gave Woodrow another chance. And fair play Woodrow, like I say, he's another one of our, forward players, doing bits as well. And good to see that he's, doing really well now again. isn't it, with Woodrow?
Yeah, definitely 100%. And like, he needs to be given that chance as well. And he is a good player. He's a very good player.
Yeah, he is.
I
know Rob Edwards always bigs him up highly in his match.
He said he's the best finisher of the club. So,
that,
mate. I think I can see why. He's clinical, and but yeah, the goal, obviously, the highlights. Obviously, I listened to it as well, but yeah, the initial shot was powerful anyway. The keeper just parried it. Yeah, it went straight to him, but he had, straight away, he just knew, bang, I'll shoot again. Obviously, they tried to clear it off the line.
Yeah.
But it's similar to Bell's goal in a way, where they had to go to the right. But it was quite clear that it was over the line anyway, I think. And if they'd disallowed that, then been held to pay. But yeah, again, clinical. He takes his chances. That guy generally. I know when we first saw him when he first started, and that there was a couple of where he was just he tried he missed basically, but it weren't poor misses. It was just like he had a shot earlier in that game. He tried to lob the keeper. That's what he'll do. He's confident to do that. Yeah, he missed, but other times he'll score that. He's confident enough to do that. And that's where Rob Evans was probably getting them from, because he's seen it. He's seen it in training and things like that. And we do see it. But at games where it's just out, it's not like he's trying something audacious and it's miles wide. He's actually, getting in. That goal against Norwich pretty much.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The keeper couldn't get nowhere near it. It was a
touch as well when he first got it.
Straight into that top corner. Do you know what I mean? And I'm pleased because he is a Luton boy. From being in the youth team, and I was born in him or that, but he grew up watching
playing for Luton.
When we were struggling and that as well. He's seen the rise. Do you know what I mean? And it's nice that it's come back to that. And I just want him to keep scoring. I think he deserves a few more goals and looking dangerous. I expect him to score, quite a few more goals. I don't know about getting into double figures, but I don't think he'll be much off of that. Depends how much he plays.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree on that. Let me go through some comments. Stephen saying it's good goals are all in the squad. Yeah, exactly. Look at recent games. We're getting goals from all over. Reece Burke, obviously defender against Huddersfield. Scored 2 defenders that game. Obviously Bell as well. Campbell's been coming up with goals every now and then. Clark, exactly. And then obviously the strikers. Like we said earlier, everyone's chipping in there, which is good to see. Adebayo 2 and 2. Yeah, exactly. Brilliant to see. Obviously, Stephen getting in the chant about Woodrow there. Love that. Jackie says Woodrow with Jordan really good together. Yeah, they are. I've noticed that. Obviously, Clark was the captain as well. Sorry, I haven't even mentioned.
Big up to him for that as well.
Man.
Last time I think he's been the captain. And done. And as he said, he's not like a shouty.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's well respected, and deserves to be given that opportunity. And
100%.
And he was going right to the end as well. He was involved in that winner as well. So
he was. No, absolutely. Obviously, Clark was one of our free signings, and we were loving it. We always big him up. So there we go with that. He loved being captain. No, he did. I saw a couple of things, pointing out players, telling him where to go and that. Yeah, that was brilliant. Big up to him. But yeah, that is that. So obviously, we got into the swing of things. Sorry, I can hear myself. I thought you said something then. That's why I stopped like that. Obviously we did have an opportunity again, obviously to make it 2-1. Obviously Woodrow, lovely ball over towards Cornet. Cornet was unlucky there, to be honest. It was a good clearance off the line by Wigan there. But then obviously, 1-1 for ages. We thought, I was thinking, I might actually get my score prediction right in the sense where it'll go extra time. And see, I didn't want us to lose, but then I had that feeling just with how the game was going. Sounded like we had chances. Sounded like the usual against Wigan, where it's always like a draw, and then we just can't take that final chance. You know, you saw it in the first game of the FA Cup against them. But then obviously Elijah got the winning goal, 90th plus 8th minute. Very annoying if you was on the Wolves versus Liverpool watch long. So I said, yeah, I'm going to come off, go on Instagram Live, look at that game more. We literally scored. I saw Stephen commented saying 2-1. I saw it on my flash scores as well. It come up. But yeah, man, brilliant cross by Cornick. I can't remember who it was. They were quite unlucky not to get onto it. I think it was Lockyer. And then obviously Elijah, brilliant turn and a brilliant finish. Like Stephen said earlier, 2 out of 2 for him. Brilliant goal. Absolute limbs with all the Luton fans that went. Big up to all of them that did, especially, midweek, with how much we can give us as well. FA Cup replay. Big up to them for that. And big up Rob Edwards as well, because he did. That was the first thing he said in the post-match as well, was to fans. So, yeah, man. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, wasn't it, Dad, to get limbs like that?
Yeah, I watched it a few times and it's pleasing because I know we're capable of it. And yeah, I just, the way he turned, perfect. Sort of, like, I think, like I say, it might have been going towards Lockyer, but he kind of I think he was aware that Adebayo was there and he kind of pulled back a little bit. And then, that was it. Like, to turn away from the keeper like that as well, it puts the keeper off straight away because he's like, and just drilled it low into the powerful shot into the bottom corner. Scenes. He was really pleased to score it, and he deserves it.
No, he does, yeah.
And that's a good moment for him. And bring on Grimsby.
Yeah, obviously Grimsby next Saturday. Obviously the Cardiff game is going to get rescheduled because of that. Hoping to go to that one, but I'll have to double check during the week and that. So yeah, man, that is that. But like Stephen says, there 158 Luton fans. Big up to all of them that went, like I said, midweek, up north. You know what the northern weather's like. Replay in the FA Cup. Big up to them for that. So yeah, there you go with that. But obviously Grimsby, we'll preview it more nearer the time, obviously next Friday. But it's a good opportunity, I would say. Very good opportunity for us to, try and get even further in the FA Cup. So yeah, man, that's that really. But obviously we won't do player ratings like we said, because we didn't manage to watch the game like we're usually able to. But yeah, as for a man of the match, we'll do that. Obviously, I'm going to go with Woodrow. And I think you're the same there, Dad, aren't you?
Yeah, from the commentary and from, and he changed his position as well. And he went into a cam or number 10 position, and, still carried on. And he just was all over the place for me. And I feel like he deserves it.
Yeah.
No, they played well. They were all like 7s or whatever, but it's an 8 or because he scored straight away as well, equaliser, and then just carried it on from there.
That pass to Cornick as well was brilliant. Over the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
definitely for me. Elijah's close second, but I just feel Woodrow, just as it was, not in a bad way for Elijah. He's brilliant, 2 out of 2. Just a sense Woodrow was all over the place pretty much. Do you know what I mean? So in a good way, obviously. So yeah, there you go with that. But big up Don in the chat. He says, all right, yeah, we're good, thanks, mate. Hope you're well. And Stephen goes, Adebayo, like I said, he's not far off for me. He's not far off. To be fair, I remember when we was talking at the time, Dad, and I was saying that I'm probably going to go with Elijah. But then, I don't know, I had a little look at the highlights again. Like I said, I wasn't able to properly watch it. And, I was just thinking Woodrow. I looked at it a little bit more. But like I said, even Don's gone Elijah. Like I said, it's close. It's close between them. But yeah, I could understand why you guys have definitely gone with Elijah as well. But yeah, Dad, anything else you want to say on that Wigan game before we get into previewing them yet again. So yeah, obviously we will do that. So obviously we've got them tomorrow. I will finally be going to a Luton game again. It has been a while. Obviously Blackpool away was my last game. I'm hoping to do a lot of the games coming up. Hopefully I haven't just jinxed that. But yeah, no, I'm hoping to do Grimsby next week as well in the cup. But yeah, Wigan, obviously you play them again. Obviously you notice I changed the stadium to the day. You know what I mean? But yeah, obviously we beat them in the FA Cup. Are we going to make it 2 out of 2? Obviously, we'll get into our score predictions in a bit. Obviously, I'll put in the title, another win versus Wigan, question mark. Can it be that? How are you feeling going into this one, Dad? Sound like you're pretty confident.
Yeah, I don't see why we can't beat them, to be honest. Played them all right to beat us earlier on in the season. But
I think the way Nathan Jones changed the midfield in that, well, we have no midfield. I just think that didn't help, and they just capitalised on that.
They're not that team anymore either. And they're just trying not to let in goals. And
they're very good away at that time, actually. They were up there, to be fair.
Certain things, but it's not going to kick in yet. We're clearly a better team than they are. We're good away. We've just beat them away. Yes, they're going to have possibly some new signings playing, but it's not going to, that's just kind of going to paper over the cracks for me. And I think that we've just got enough to beat them, and we're looking up. Do you know what I mean? And they'll probably be looking for a draw. They're under the cosh, but I just think we've got enough. We've got enough to beat them, so I'm pretty confident we can do it again.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I'm the same. I'm confident going into this one. Like I said, both games, for me, will obviously be difficult in the sense where it'll be like narrow, but we'll do it in that sense. This game, I do feel will be, I don't want to say easier, but I feel we have more chance of winning this more. I don't want to sound disrespectful, but more convincingly than the other day in that sense. Especially with it being league, we're very good away from home. In the league, we're currently fourth for best team away from home. Wigan, obviously, at home are the worst side in the league. Obviously, they're worst side in the league when it comes to points at the moment as well. So yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident going into this one as well, to be honest with you. So yeah, Jackie's putting a score prediction. I will get into that later. I'll star it, then I can get into it on that later bit. Same with Don. He's done that as well. There we go. Don is very happy that Matt Macy's gone. And yeah, people were mentioning Stuart Moore to me the other day. I obviously, back then I didn't really watch Luton too much, but I remember Blue Terrier said the other day that you mentioned him once that on the Hatter Show.
Yeah, just I think we got him on loan from Reading.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I had a little research. Just to see.
League Two, and they just that's the worst loan signings you could do. It's hard enough getting a loan keeper as it is when you're in the playoffs and stuff, but which we was then as well. But no, but it's hard to get a decent keeper sometimes, and that's the problem. But we need to sort that out. We have got better, but priority is probably keeping hold of Ethan. I know I've seen some people like, oh, he's not, they just chat rubbish about him. He's a better keeper than Sluga.
Yeah. And the defence, it always goes back to what I say when we do these comparisons to like a Sluga. I liked him, but let's be real, the defence is a lot more confident with Ethan, even Shay.
Yeah, definitely.
When Shay come in as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like Ethan, for me, that's one bad game. I haven't seen him have another awful game for Luton. And a lot of goals, that he's conceded this season. Yeah. He hasn't been able to get to most of them because they're so, really good.
I'm pretty sure
that's the word. I don't know if that is.
I'm pretty sure that Matt Macy's gone on loan with a view to if he performs well. Then they'll sign him.
Yeah.
If not, they'll give him back, and then
then we'll probably move him on somewhere else. Probably.
I think he was only got a year's contract anyway, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or 18 months or something like that.
So yeah, there you go. Don's come in with a question. I'll read it out and then I'll let you have your thoughts on it, Dad, and then I'll say mine. Here's a question: would you sign, obviously, Ethan, if we had the chance on quite big wages, or look elsewhere? Don't mind keeping him, but on a lot. Your thoughts, Dad?
It depends how he feels as well. I think, yeah. Depends on what exact wages he's on, and obviously we probably would look to give him less wages. But if he's guaranteed first team football, then he might, and he's getting into the USA squad, then he might just take that. If he thinks he can do better, then let him do that, innit? But at the end of the day, if he does go back to Forest, he's definitely going to be sitting on the bench or whatever. So, and it all depends what happens with us, if we sell anyone and that, because we can pay better wages now, because we are getting a lot more money from everything, really. TV revenue, where you finish in the Championship last season, we must have got a few bob for that. Getting further in the FA Cup, things like that. So we've had players that probably were on big wages before. Like you got, like Lansbury must have been on quite a decent wage wherever he was. So I think we'll be all right. I don't think it'll be silly money.
Yeah,
we just don't do that. And if he starts going, well, I want 25k or whatever, then we'll be like, we'll get someone else for that, less than that, half that. So we'll see. It all depends on that. But other than that, keep him. Yeah, keep him. We're going to need to find another keeper anyway.
Yeah,
Macy, we'll see what happens. But he will need competition, because really he hasn't really got any competition by the looks of it. You've got to have that in the goalkeeping department as well.
Yeah, no, you have definitely. But yeah, no, I'm the same. I'd love to keep him, 100%. And like I said, like my dad said, if he's getting first team football, he's probably be happy with what he'll get here. Obviously, I do think if Forest do stay up, then there's a better chance for us to keep him, in my opinion. That's for sure. And obviously they are.
Regardless, I just don't think they're interested in him.
Yeah. So, yeah, true. Because like it goes back to what you said earlier, I guess, where they would have, tried to get him back already, surely, if they thought that. But yeah, no, you got a point. And then Don says about Sluga. I rated Sluga. Always didn't get the stick. Was dodgy at times, but great keeper. Shot stopping 1920 after lockdown. And
he weren't bad. He weren't bad, but I just do feel like Ethan's more confident and less prone to errors, like proper errors. I'm talking. You know what I mean? I just feel like, and at the end of the day, Sluga didn't want to be at the club as well. So
yeah, obviously,
homesick or whatever.
Yeah.
Got to have that commitment, and we just got. I don't think we made our money back, but we got quite a bit back for him. So it made sense for the club. Do you know what I mean? So again, that's what I say about Ethan. If he wants if he knows he's guaranteed first team football and that, then I can't see him going, because it's difficult to maintain that sometimes if you're rated as a second choice keeper or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you develop your career and that. So I'd say that he'd probably end up staying anyway, because we're a playoff team. Even if we don't make it this year, we've got that quality. Unless someone comes in for him who gets promoted or anything. But even then, I can't see being first choice.
Yeah. No, I agree. Sluga, what I'd compare Sluga to is like our sort of Leno at that time, where he's a really good shot stopper. But
he was.
Not that, wasn't.
No doubt in that.
Yeah. That's how I'd compare him. I liked him as well.
It seemed like he wasn't used to the intensity of the game and that.
Yeah. I remember his first game. Oh God, against Middlesbrough. Remember that? Oh God. Yeah, that was.
They attack you, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Panicking and that. Whereas Ethan, very rarely have seen him panic. Do you know what I mean? He always managed to get a touch on the ball, and even if you don't, you still clear it away. Even if, do you know what I mean? I don't think I ain't really seen a mistake like that in him. Yeah, he's parried it in whatever that game was. Now, out of how many games have we watched him?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone has a bad game at some point.
If the defenders are messing around in front of you, you're like, well, you're not expecting that nonsense, are you? So,
yeah, like we said about that West Brom game, it was everyone has a bad game. It was just annoying that they all seem to have it at the same time. Like obviously Doherty as well, and Lockyer wasn't so great in that one, but yeah, is what it is. Is what it is. Big up Wolf in the comments. He says, big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself. But yeah, so what we're getting to now is obviously the lineup that we go with. Obviously, we'll do what we have been doing. You should know that by now. Obviously, I'll say what I'd go with. I'd see if we agree or whatever. So obviously, going to go 5-2-1-2 as it is on here. So obviously, Ethan in goal. So yeah, that should have a doubt. Now, defensively, I'm going to go Potts on that left-hand side. The middle, I'm going to go... I'm probably going to go Lockyer. I think I'm going to put Lockyer back in for this. And then the right, I'm going to go Burke. Burke on that right. There he is. Right wing back, I'm going to go with Bree. Left wing back, I'm going to go with Bell. Where is he? He's always somewhere down there. There he is. The midfield, I'm going to go Campbell. Midfield on the right, I'm going to go. Who am I going to go with on the right? Probably going to go Ruddock. Ruddock on the right. Obviously, he did come on against Wigan in the FA Cup. And then up there, I'm going to go Clark, who you've got who based on the last game. Where is he? There he is. And then up front, I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go with what it was the other day. I think I'm going to go Elijah again. Obviously 2 out of 2. Still hasn't got a picture on here. Madness. And Woodrow. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Any changes you'd make to that, Dad?
No, I think it probably will be like that. I think Morris probably won't play. They'll make a risk him. Do you know what I mean? He might be on the bench, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him not there at all. Potentially, maybe Osho might start for one of the defenders. I can see that happening because he's actually been pretty good.
I was thinking him instead of maybe Lockyer.
I don't know about Lockyer, maybe instead of Burke. But we'll see. And that's it really. Like everything else I can see happening. Bree was took off because they're concerned about his hamstring, but I think he's all right. So I'm pretty sure that's what the lineup will be, and we know we'll have the certain people on the bench now anyway. We'll have a strong bench regardless. But yeah, I do feel like Osho might start. So I think he's looked probably slightly better than Burke. I mean, recently, and sometimes you have to go on that. I think overall Burke is a better player.
Yeah.
But Osho's played a bit more football and he's starting to look pretty decent, especially in going forward as well. So I could see that's the only change potentially see from your lineup. But yeah, Pelly will be back. Clark, yeah, he's come back and he's doing bits and he's still ahead of Watson. So
yeah,
but he's still a good option to come off the bench. We know he can change the game potentially. We know he can do the basics properly and just shore up, the midfield a little bit if we need to. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, and then obviously league positions. Obviously, we sit ninth. A lot of three teams on 39 points. Obviously, Wigan, like I said earlier, sit bottom, 4 points off safety as it stands. Yeah, we are obviously the favourites going into this, which is obviously understandable. And do win this based on other results. We could be back in the playoffs. So yeah, man, that is that. But yeah, your lineups. Stephen says same as West Brom, with Kelly for Watson and Osho for Burke. Yep, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Obviously, Dad said about potentially Osho for Burke as well. So there you go with that. So yeah, there we go. And obviously, Stephen's saying Morris has trained, so should be back. Yeah, potentially on the
I
bench.
wouldn't be surprised to see him on the bench.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised just if we've given him, the week off in that sense.
Yeah, I reckon he'll be on the bench, mate.
Especially with everyone else firing and etc. But yeah, no, hopefully he is just another option as well in that sense. So yeah, man, that is that. They are the lineups that we would go with against Wigan. Now it's that time. Score prediction, like we said, we're both feeling confident going into it. Obviously, getting your score predictions now if you haven't already. Jackie's and Don's. I'll get into theirs in a minute as they've already put theirs in. But yeah, score prediction, Dad.
I do feel like they potentially would get a goal again because they've got some, their new sidings will probably be itching to do something, and that's what happens normally. But I just think we've got enough. It'd probably be more of a consolation goal than anything. I'm going to go for quite an emphatic win for us. I think we're going to just start stepping up the gas now, and we know we've played them twice. We know like if we put it on them, we should be beating them quite considerably. I'm going to go for a 4-1 Luton win.
Jeez, we love that. We love that. As for my score prediction, like I said, I'm feeling confident as well. I'm going to go over 2-0. I'm going to go over 2-0 Luton. Last time we've done that, well, in the away from home, was obviously Hull City. If you don't remember that, obviously Friday night when Lansbury scored that banger. So yeah, I'm going to go over a 2-0. A 2-0 to Luton. Goal scorers, Dad?
Well,
who are your 4 goal scorers?
Adebayo.
Yep.
Clark. I don't know if he's caught it in time. So I'm going to go Adebayo, Clark, Potts, and Cornick. I think Adebayo will continue his goal scoring run. For Potts is probably due a goal, and I can see him scoring one from a set piece. Clark's been close recently, and so is Cornick. I can just see they're all gelling together and scoring. I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. Just looking at some of the comments. I'll probably wait for Tyler to read them out. Yeah, I see your comment, Jackie. Osho instead of Potts. The only thing is with that is I don't know if Osho can play in that left centre back position. And I think Freeman is injured as well. But yeah, Morris is trained. I don't know how much, but I feel he'll be on the bench. Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I can see Tyler's comments. Here he is.
Flipping laptop. No, I literally charged it about an hour ago. It was like on about
Plugged in.
probably
Just
about 30%.
keep it plugged in. You might need
Yeah.
battery for it because you use it quite a lot, you know.
Yeah, no. Apologies about that, people. Yeah, did you see this comment by Stephen? Oh dear. But yeah. So who did you say? Sorry, Elijah, Potts, Clark, and who was it?
Cornick.
Cornick. That was it. That was it. But yeah, 2-0 is my prediction. My goal scorers, I'm going to go Elijah as well. I feel we get 3 out of 3, and I'm going to go Clark. I'm going to go Clark as well. So yeah, they are my goal scorers. So yeah, both confident going into it. Rightly so, based on how we, performed, how they've performed. Your score predictions as well. I nearly forgot them. Jackie's gone 2-1 to us. Another 2-1.
Yeah, that might be worth it. I was thinking that as well, but I'm just trying to. I want us to score more, so I'm leaning into more. But that'd be worth putting a tenner on anyway, definitely.
There you go. There you go. And then Don's gone 3-1, so he's gone pretty emphatically as well. And I remember actually last season when we played Hull away, he said 3-1 there, and it ended up being 3-1. So, let's see if he gets that right. He's as confident for once. But yeah, there we go with that. So yeah, any final thoughts? Anything else you want to say?
Nah, let's just look forward to it. We can see how far we've come, and we're in a great position. Let's be honest. I mean, we've still got that game in hand. Yeah, it's against Millwall and it keeps getting changed, but it's still there. And I think we potentially might have 2 games in hand coming up because of the Cardiff game being rescheduled as well. So as long as we're there, within 2-3 points, even 4 points of the playoffs, with 2 games in hand, then it's just going to get better and better for us because we've got that depth in the squad, and I expect there to be at least 1 signing by the transfer deadline. Probably, possibly 2, but definitely there'll be a signing, definitely. And everyone's on the same page. Everyone knows what they can achieve. And you're right, Jackie. Yeah, I can see that comment coming up. The academy, they're kicking on now. Again, that's another thing that we haven't seen for a few years from Luton. They produce good young players that played in the Premier League or top level Championship football, etc. And do really well at the moment. And I don't know what round the FA Cup game is against Preston, but for me, on paper, it probably seems a winnable game. I haven't really checked their youth team out. They must be half decent if they're getting past the rounds as well. But we're at home again, and I just think we're looking good and looking confident. And that whole Luton kind of mentality is filtered down to that level now, which is just going to benefit us. So as long as we can keep hold of them players as well, like before, they'd be easily poached off of us. But now I think we've got a much better chance of keeping hold of them. And a couple of them are starting to filter through to the bench, which is good. And potentially they might even be given a chance, 1 or 2 of them against Grimsby. I don't see why not. I think that we can afford to rest players definitely in that game. I don't feel that we have to go that strong against Grimsby at all. Obviously, it is potentially a banana skin and that, but you don't have to go full out, but you can rest. You can give other players who you think, Petit, for instance, been on the bench quite a lot. And
even Nelson, he was on the bench.
We'll be playing development games in the background as well. But if they're kicking on, they're going to get signed contracts as well, and they'll be the ones who are going out on loan, which is what you want. Because they're younger. You don't want your older lads going, Mendes, Gomez, and that really going out on loan. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like he could play in the Championship for us. He could be a good option. So but they're doing really well, and it's nice to see. And if we keep getting through these,
brilliant job.
Sorry,
McCormack doing a brilliant job with them as well.
Well, I've also heard that Forbes, who's one of our coaches, obviously, or whatever, I used to play for us back in the day, that he's been touted for the Swindon job. But I feel like, is it the Swindon job? So I thought Swindon were doing all right, to be honest with you. So that's quite surprising. But you're just checking it.
Yeah, I'm checking where Swindon are in the league. They're sixth. Yeah, they're sixth in League Two, so they're not doing too bad.
I mean, I had them to win the league beginning of the season, so maybe, I don't know. But they beat Grimsby 5-0 in their last game, so I don't know. Maybe that was just some silly rumour that was just there, but I did hear about it. But yeah, like, and again, that's down to people that have been at the club before. You know, we've got people like McCormack, Forbes, Paul Benson. You know, they were pivotal in certain things at certain times at the club, and you know, going forward, like, you know, you'd want Potts to come back at some point to be potentially a coach, or you know, I don't know, like Ruddock. I don't know. I don't know if he's that type. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But you know, he's definitely a joker. He's definitely a good. You know, you always need someone like that around. I did see an interesting comment from Potts. He was chatting about the manager, and he was disappointed because he couldn't get to play at first and things like that, and he really raced him. And he said that he gets on with most of the people in the club. And I was trying to work out, who don't he get on with? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's to say? I'm thinking, well, who could that be? Do you know what I mean? Because it is hard. Like, you go to work somewhere, everyone I know, like, works. There's always people you don't like at work, or you don't get on with at work, and that's bound to happen at football. Obviously, it's very rare with this squad and the way we try and implement things. Do you know what I mean? If someone's not affiliated with most of the squad, they'll be done. You don't have to get on with everyone. You can't force someone to like everyone, you know, if they don't like something about something, you know. Do you know what I mean? That's human nature. But it just made me think, like, who do you reckon he don't like then? You know what I mean? Like, what's the tea lady ever done to him? Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know, but it's you know, it just made me like laugh a little bit. But he will be popular anyway because he's been there for a long time, same as Ruddock, them two. You know,
Yeah.
You know, Potts was signed in 2015. You know, and I remember, and it, you know, and he's done all right. Really, he's just been steady, but he has scored some important goals for us and things like that. Do you know what I mean? But the way we've evolved recently is ridiculous. You know, we wouldn't have been able to sign players like Doughty, Thorpe before. They would have went to other championship clubs and developed from there.
Yeah.
So that's and the important thing was, like, Nathan Jones brought that, and they bought into what he said and what he does and what we need. And this is the thing what I was just going to touch on. Like, I do feel like if Nathan Jones was still here, that we would already have signed someone.
Yeah, because that's something he did do, get his business very early.
Certain players might be like a little bit more like, well, let's see, because he was a League Two manager before and do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he can sell it as well, but if they can all sell it as well and carry on. I mean, look at what we're doing. That's why we've got to keep improving, to let potential players know that we're still about and we're still on that trajectory. And that's all I feel like. We probably would have signed someone earlier, because Nathan Jones likes to get his business done early and normally does. And at Southampton, he's already signed two decent players as well, and is already looking at Bree. I don't know if it materialise or not. I mean, you know, but I do feel like he's going to have one eye on that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen. But then we don't want to be panicking and going, right, we've got no right backs now at the club. Naturally, I have to sign two or promote one from the youth team and sign a decent one. That's probably what will happen, because I don't think we're going to be able to sign two.
No.
We'll probably get another one in the summer, but you know. And then it'll go from needing a left centre back to actually forget the left centre back. We ain't got no one to replace Bree. You know, we're talking about Naismith. Bree's more important than Naismith was. Do you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting, but you know, it's not long to go now. 11 days.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, I didn't actually mean to press on that comment. I already read that one out. But yeah, no, exactly. Not too long. Like I said, me personally, obviously, I ideally want more than just a left-sided centre back. But if we ended up just getting, left-sided centre back, no one else, I'd be happy, because I feel that's the main position we need to sort out. Like I said, I like Potts. I'd love to keep him as another option, but I just feel we need more there as well. In that sense. So yeah, that's that. Let's go through the last bit of comments. Where was I? Even the under 17s and under 18s doing bits. There you go.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, I did see that briefly. Yeah, that's good to see, because Arsenal obviously will get the best young players around, Hertfordshire, North London, whatever, because they're, especially at the moment, because they're a more attractive club. So for us to beat them, just shows you that our academy, we've had it going for a couple of years now, because we didn't have it before. We had it years ago, but then when we went to the conference and that, there wasn't much point, so we didn't have it. We've only just recently got it back in the last couple of years, I think, maybe less than that. So that is pretty interesting to see how quickly they're coming up as well. And that's got to big up the coaches and the staff.
Yeah,
100%. It's going through the club. This is stuff that we're not really seeing on a day-to-day basis. So yeah.
No, 100%, definitely. I saw that. I saw the Birmingham game. It was good that we got revenge on them in some sort of way, wasn't it? And the way we did as well. Jeez, that was madness. That was madness. And then Stephen says it's an academy classic. Yeah, no, definitely. And Stephen also says he had Northampton to win League 2. So there you go there. I didn't, obviously I didn't do big predictions on League 1 and 2. But yeah, I think League 1 I had... I can't remember.
Well, I'll tell you what I had. I had Man City, Burnley, Peterborough and Swindon.
It looks like you're going to get the Burnley one right as well.
Yeah.
I said Burnley second. I don't, a lot of people went with them lower, but I just had the feeling, the players they managed to keep hold of, I thought they would be up there definitely. And they've been in the Premier League for so long before that. I just felt they'd just be up there to rise and get there again. And obviously you are seeing that. And they are playing tonight as well against West Brom, which will be an interesting one. I'm going to watch that one for sure. Exactly, Stephen. He says Wright and Bergkamp at Gooners didn't see eye to eye. So yeah, no, it links back to what we said earlier, obviously. And he says Ipswich League 1 thought they would push. Yeah, they're still doing really well, to be honest. But yeah, man, that is where we're going to wrap it up. Episode 79. Obviously, like I said, I'll finally be going to another Luton game. Obviously, the first time since Blackpool. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. If anyone is going tomorrow, I might just wear my T-Boys TV new Luton shirt. If anyone sees me, feel free to come up, picture, and big up everyone at Burnley away. Like I say every time, me and British chaps, someone come up to us, ask for a picture, and then some guy come up to me at half time and said, "I watch your stuff." So no, I appreciate stuff like that. But yeah, if you do see me, feel free to talk to me and that. And if you want to be on the vlog, feel free as well. But yeah, man, that is where we're going to wrap it up. So yeah. Until Friday, that'll be the next Hatter show. And obviously, we then get into Grimsby. Forgot who it was for a second. We will see you lot in a bit. So, yeah, take care and peace. Come on, Luton.